Right, so we're in analytics yesterday. What happened? Okay guys, so yesterday we were creating a report. So before we quickly do that, so I feel we have to just go. So we'll go to detailed reporting. You should give me your notes, man. Okay. You should also give me a copy, seriously. I'm serious. It's not a joke, I'm serious. You should give me a copy of your notes. It's a book, man. Come on, I thought it's almost a book. Serious got tonight. You wrote a lot of notes, so I think I need it. Huh? That's okay. I still need it. If you can give me a copy of it, that's really great. You can give it to the front office. I can make a copy and give it to me. Whatever, right? It's good. If it's good, you should use it actually. I don't know, guys. It's Friday for us, so the system is also in a good mood, I guess. It's taking its. It's still taking a lot of time compared to yesterday. Sorry? A report should be generated on what? That's what I said. UCalc. SAP will do it. We can't do. YOUCALC.
Praveen, what are the other options that we see?
These are all reports that are already existing. So these are all reports that are already existing in the system. Whereas here, these are the tools where we create reports. So we're seeing them. Here. No, these are standard login homepage. So as I said, these are all UCalc things. These are called widgets. These are called widgets. So, okay. So today is welcome to analytics, not yesterday. Right. So yesterday we opened a report. Right. So we created a report. We'll try to open it today and see if we can put some filter as you asked. Okay, so this is our report that we created yesterday. At least this is how you navigate. You need to search for your folder and do that. So it's I'll just take US as an example so that we see multiple charts, I mean multiple bars at least. Whereas if I take all the locations, it might be very much. Or maybe I'll take non-US, makes it more better. Wap. Okay, so this is our report that we have. We can go and manage filters. Add a filter which says job information, location. It's not equal to, or maybe I should take company not equal to yes USA. Yes USA. So we'll take this, right? So this is good. So I just take this. So now the report will definitely come down to a small number, I hope. Let's select equal to or not equal to. We're not in ACE USA. So those employees who are not in ACE USA are the ones we're looking for now. Okay, so what I'll do is, if you look at it, now this looks okay. So we can go to tools, we can take this. So what we do for gender and rows, location, or maybe change it a bit. put location and rows. No, it becomes again. Okay, so we'll put gender, and then is a manager. It still takes an old one then, so it's not. It's taking location rows, so we can take a pivot from this one. So the location would go to columns and gender would come to rows, and then it will take is a manager. Okay, so now we can see that it's commercial. Right, so I will save it as we just created, I think we created a folder yesterday, right? Pivot new underscore 7/10/2015. Okay, so we have this, which looks a bit better. Okay, now we're going to use it. Now we're going to use it in our online report designer. So as a report designer is a place where you have to design the way your report should look like. So go to report designer. I hope we can find the one that we created yesterday. Okay, I'll just create a new report. Sorry? I don't know. Maybe because I'm in US. I don't love in US anyway. 7/10/2015. Okay, so we have it. So we go into the report. What we can do is we can go to the blank page. What happened? Okay, so we'll go to text and you can put some, this is a company logo usually. So it takes a company logo. Okay, and then we can go here, can bring charts, for example. So there's a chart. So within a chart, you can put the query that you created to this particular chart. So it can be a regular report that you created, or something like what we're doing. Okay, so it's pulling the query. You You can also work on the colors and everything that you see. Again, it's bigger. Again, it's big. It just takes it from the report. So whatever you have in the report, just dump it here. It's just because this is not a report puller. I mean, it is not generating any report or anything. This is just a designer where you can put multiple reports into one and send it to the right people. That's why we use ORD for. Yeah, it will go in the mail as a PDF. And yesterday I got that email for our alerts. I was working seriously and I got an email saying EC alert. I was saying EC alert from where? Okay, then okay, I realized okay, we did this yesterday. So no, the one that we did in the class yesterday. Yeah. That's right. So this is how you are. At least this looks better now. So it's just a size problem. So you can see in the formatting, you can go and change your colors and everything that displays in your chat. So you can show what you want to see. Okay, you can just play around this one. It talks about colors and everything, appearance, how it does, colors that you see. You can change it. You can change it to whatever you want, and that can be reflected in your chats. So you just need to play around formatting to see how things will shape up, x-axis, y-axis, how gradients and all those things. Then, not just adding your reports, what you can do is you can also put some tables and everything. So these tables could be another report that you have from a pivot query or somewhere. That's a good example. This is a query if you look at it. So what I can do is I can make it a report. So I'm taking the reports. So for example, let's take the same one, okay? So you can see the report as a table as well. You see it? So it brings report in a table format. This one is a little big, so that's why you have to scroll. Ideally, if you take a proper size and everything in the report, you can see it in our file. Okay, this is a report file. So I can put a title, your manager account. So the table will get a title now. See your manager accounts and format it. Then what we can also do here is you can put text. Okay, so this is a text, right? So you can put anything. I can say underline, I can say editor. It's just designing a report, okay? It's not creating a report, but it's more of designing a report. and choose. Right, so this is how you design your own reports, and this file, this is a report name, okay, so this is your ORD underscore this one. So we need to see how we can schedule these reports or pack these reports together and send it to right people. For that, what we need to do is we need to go back to our analytics screen. Remember that word, today's date, I guess. So what we can do is you can go to report distributor. In the bottom, that there is one more called analytics workspace, right? So we don't have access to it because it is in workforce analytics module. There is one portion where you can combine different data sources. Let's say, for example, this is something not specific to what we discussed, AC or advanced reporting or ORD, but it's part of workforce analytics and planning module, wherein what happens is your data can be pulled from multiple data sources. That means you have your core HR in SAP and you want to pull data from SUCCESSFACTORS. So this one will connect SAP and SUCCESSFACTORS and pull the reports here. Or let's say you have Oracle, you have SUCCESSFACTORS, you have SAP in 3 different things, and if you want to connect all of them together, pull something in this reporting, that's when you use that analytics workspace. Okay, so here what we can do is we can create a new bundle. This is something that will be sent to different people. So this is page size, could be letter, whatever you want to choose. So letter, let's say if you want to see it in a Word format or a PDF format or a PowerPoint, whatever. It's
You are doing it in Query Workspace?
I'm doing it in report distributor. This is called report distributor.
In the tools you had selected report distributor?
Right, yes. In the tools, report distributor. So here we need to add items. Here, what I can do is how can I put these reports here? So we put our ORD, right? So
It's in top. why can't I see a report? Why can't we see this report, man?
Okay. You can't see a report. Why? Okay. So if you look at this here, so we got our reports. So this is your report here. Right, so this is the one that we created. So I guess we got it. Here you go. So this is our report that we just created today. Finally, our report is here. So likewise, you need to add all your reports that you would like to add it to your bundle. So what we do with this bundle is we can put the destination. So we can say it's an email. So who wants to receive an email? So you can usually choose an user for whom you can add a recipient by searching for user. Okay, you see here, you got all the people in our, so here you see all the different instances because they are all connected. Otherwise you see our own people. You might see ours as well somewhere, but so you can say this is an email which will send to your user, or you can run offline. That means it will run offline wherever you want to, and you can also send it to an FTP server. Okay, so wherein it will connect to a particular FTP server. You can choose custom wherever you want to create it, or you can choose however you want to define it. So here you can schedule it. You can add a schedule which will say when you want to run it. It's a one time, or a daily, or weekly, or monthly. So if it's daily, you need to chase after every, it recovers every 1 day, and you need to choose a time at which it has to run. So we'll define this report. So you send this, it sends a bundle, the PDF file that we created to the people. Okay, so let's say for example, FTP file transfer protocol. It's most of the time used to go and take the data from that particular folder, FTP folder. It's usually when you have interfaces. So there is a folder called as FTP, SUCCESSFACTORS FTP folder, where these interfaces will come and pick the data from that FTP server. So usually you connect through FTP. You won't say field go and sit there, so it's not. So you have a format which will be sent to FTP. From FTP it takes data. But yeah, so your integration is set to FTP folder, so FTP server. So it's not something that we can customize. It's standard SUCCESSFACTORS FTP server. So there you'll get folders, whatever you create and get stored. So this is how the whole process of reporting start with basic, go to advanced, then go to designing, and then scheduling as well. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Banu. Bhavani, sorry.
Praveen, can we create the folders by ourselves, or do we need to contact?
You can create actually saying, okay, you can give a custom folder name. so that system will go and create it in the FTP server, because as I said, the FTP server of SUCCESSFACTORS is standard. I don't know it because I'm not an integration guy. Usually I don't care about the server names and all. So what happens is in the FTP server, there is a folder that will be created with this particular custom name that we give. Or you take a date, or it takes a random, or there is no folder. It will directly place it in the FTP configuration.
Okay. So just where can we get this path? I mean, to give to the integration people, I mean, to other system people, we need to give the path to the.
So usually your integration folks who are working on SUCCESSFACTORS integration, they will get the access to FTP server details and everything. So there's something called as, I'll show you something. So yeah, we get a standard report bundle called that's called standard reports bin, where you have all these some basic reporting available. So you get them. So I think I have some presentation where I created certain thing. I can try to share it with the group. There's something which says what reports are standard, which are available as standard. So if I'm not wrong, these are all technical connections, guys. So you ask me how it takes. These are all technical stuff, okay? Integration folks usually work here with the data dictionary. This is where they go and get the fields, and I don't know similarly how they get the FTP server address. It might be given by SAP itself, I feel. I don't think we create it, so it should be provided by SUCCESSFACTORS. So here is more of a technical stuff where people will go get the field details and everything from SUCCESSFACTORS, right? So this is where they go and get it. Sorry? Oh, it's not a help option. It's like more of a one place where you get everything. So if you look at it, it takes all the fields. So these are all fields. So that particular API, I mean that particular entity will have all this user info section. So all the fields of user info section. If you want to pull that, so you just take this field. From an interface perspective, it takes the data based on these fields. So if they select that particular query, I mean the query on this particular data field that you see on the top, so it takes this table. It pulls this table from SUCCESSFACTORS, FTP servers or APIs. So this is something that you guys don't do, but just I wanted to share this information so that you never know when you might want to do certain things. Right, yep. No, SF, no, it's not. It's integration stuff, right? So this is for integrating things, integrating SUCCESSFACTORS with any other system. If you need to get the field labels or the root field IDs, how they want to integrate. So this is what you provide. So these are all, for example, let's say you want to integrate a job requisition. So this is an ID of the field which will bring this data. It's kind of how we have a technical field name in SAP, right? So this is more or less similar. So because if you look at Boomi or something, so this is pulling photos or everything from your SUCCESSFACTORS.
So Praveen, even the report what had configured will come in one of these folders?
No, this is not a folder. This is not a folder. Sorry, don't get confused. This is not a folder. This is a dictionary of all the fields or the whatever portlets that you have in SUCCESSFACTORS. If you want to integrate the data to a third-party system, an integration person would need these IDs of portlet. Let's say, for example, if I want to call a personal information portlet from SUCCESSFACTORS to read the data of, let's say, your personal information or marital status or anything. I need to send this data to a third party. What I have to do is I have to go to this data dictionary to know what is that ID that I can call from SUCCESSFACTORS. So I have to I have to get the personal details of you. So in order to call that, I have to go to this data dictionary to get that particular label or technical field value or name or whatever it is. Let's say, for example, we have got employee data replication, payroll results, employee time details, legal entity details, personal information, basic component, time account type. Maybe I'll take a different example, whatever I can find. Let's say, for example, I have to take employee profile details, okay? So I want to take employee profile portrait. So these are the fields that I have, and if I query on this particular value in my integration, you know how you call integration, right? You've got different things that you pick. So these are the values that you might have to pick from your APIs. So employees time details. So this is the place where you see what is the workflow request, who approved it, what is the time, what is data, all these values will come. Here you have each field by field values that you've got in that object. Likewise, you got a lot of other things here. So employee data replication is used for replicating employee data to your SAP system or somewhere. So here you've got elements. There's a lot of data. This is all data that's used to integrate. Don't worry about this, we don't work. I never worked on the screen, but just giving you an information where you might have to go and see if someone asks you technical details. But we don't go and see. It's usually the integration person will also access the screen. Okay? So what we are going to do next week, did we talk about global assignments? No, right? So we'll talk about global assignments, concurrent assignment in the next class. And did I show you guys something which I forgot? Time will talk. Time is something that we're going to talk next week. Before that, did I miss something? Mass changes we discussed. So instant synchronization tool we have seen, right? When we do not run it, obviously we don't have another connection, so we can't do it. But at least I've shown you where we go and do it. The provisioning, there is an option where we can say instant synchronization tool. Okay. Then
in analytics, can we merge two reports?
That's what I just did, right? In ORD, I just put two reports in one folder, in one report, and combined it as one bundle and send. You can actually, multiple reports can be put into one bundle and schedule it as well. No, how I added one. Okay.
If I want to get some data from one report, I mean some 3 or 4 fields from one report and some other data from other report. So that
no, I don't think you can take data from reports at least. How do you take it? Because you have data coming from a report and few fields from a report and few fields from a different report. I would say you create a report with all those fields in one.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, it's coming from employee data source, right? Have to pull those fields. It's not from report. End of the day, it's coming from the data schemas, actually, whatever we have. So let me quickly show you the latest thing called instant synchronization. Okay, so I have to log into provisioning. Okay, so we've got Employee Central. So we got our instance synchronization company settings here. So we don't have other settings, so we can't do it. But what we usually do is we can configure instance in the same data center. That means we can take a data center which is in the same thing, and what we can do is we can say which one of those list of items that you see here can be synced with our other instance. So what I'm doing now is I'm taking another instance and syncing the data from that instance to my instance now. That's what I'm doing. So what you have to do is in your production, you have to listen to understand. Okay? So when we have a production environment, let's say, so in a production environment, what we do is we have to copy the data from a test instance or a, let's say, development instance. So using this instance synchronization tool, majority of the things can be transferred directly without manually importing, exporting data. What we can do is we can send the data directly from instance to instance now. For example, you've written rules, you've written MDF objects, you created role-based permissions. So these things are actually a large number of things, right? So if you look at RBP or you look at MDF, so there might be data and we don't want to screw them. So that's why what we can do is we can use any of these values. So for example, rating scales, pick lists, workflows, RBP, system properties, dashboard settings, MDF pick list, MDF config UIs, foundation objects, competencies, families and roles, label translations. Translations you do it once, that's it. Now you just don't need to do it again. RBP groups, templates, MDF object definitions, MDF rules can be synced with your another instance. Why only these? Why not everything else? The reason is very simple. Apart from your, if you look at your foundation data configuration that we do, so those are coming from your data models, right? So you just upload the same data models here as well. So you don't need to kind of transfer them. So it's the data model, just download it and import it here. It's the same thing. And coming to foundation object configuration, usually it's import files. So import the same import files in production as well. Okay? And then rest of them are custom. Whatever we have custom are all available here. So we come here and we do this instance synchronization tool. This is actually quite latest. So it says if foundation objects are selected, data models will be synced. That means even the corporate data model and country-specific corporate data model will be synced within this object. So currently we have only this functionality. As I said, this is kind of improving itself. So right now we can transfer all the data from one instance to another instance using this particular process of instance synchronization. Don't ask me to do it because that one is not an active system. Repeat. Okay.
Praveen, before we do the synchronization, like how can we have the backup?
So before we do an synchronization, how do you have a backup? Okay.
If something goes wrong.
Thing is, usually I would prefer this when we have a blank system and copying everything. When it's one small change, I would advise to do that separately. Okay. Otherwise, if you think your systems are always in sync, you just added one, then no problem syncing. But if you think there is a lot of junk in your test system and you don't want to move it, because we're not doing any employee data transfer, we're only doing the configuration. Ideally, a configuration is supposed to be at least in sync. Otherwise, it does not work. Okay, so please make sure you're not doing something that you're not supposed to. I would prefer using this when I'm doing it for the first time.
Okay, so for the rest of the times we can go and upload the template there? I mean like...
Usually I would prefer yes. Rest of the times usually go change it manually or upload it. And I heard the transport is coming up soon. So there might be transports in SUCCESSFACTORS as well. So this will change. Yeah, but
Praveen,
sorry?
Praveen, this is Suresh. The screen behind this, the one which you have, that does that has the listed all the instances?
That I have authorization to. So that will list instances that I have authorization to.
Right, but when you say like a company that we have some development done in development system, and then once it is approved, we are pushing it to target, production system. Where does that 2 instances is this? Which is source, how do we mention that which is source, which is target and all that?
So the one that we are working on currently is the target system. So this employee central active system is my target system in which I'm going to synchronize the data from this source system.
Oh, okay, so you select the source to the target and you will be in target. Okay.
Right, I am in target. I'm in the target system, selecting the source from which I want to copy, select the data and copy.
Okay.
Production. Target is nothing but in which system you want to copy or synchronize. This is an important functionality, to be honest. This reduces a lot of effort, especially when you are moving from or when you're doing your cutover stuff. Okay, so when you're doing all this migration to production, this will really help you to simplify the effort. Previously, this was not available. Just think, we have to do a lot of things manually. Especially, there was no option to duplicate roles and permissions. And this was a problem when it became, when you start working on big customers. When you look at customers with 100,000, 200,000 employees, it's going to be huge. A huge effort to manually redo everything, especially in roles. So it's not possible. So that's why we have options now. It's there from some time, but slowly picking up functionality as well. Okay. Next step. Why we use yeah. Sorry.
Praveen, one more question. Provisioning system is one system that will list all company codes or company instances what the user have access, right?
Right. So provisioning, when you log into provisioning, you see all the instances that you have access to, and you're authorized, of course. So only if you're authorized. So you see all those instances in that particular login like this. When I go to all my company listings, I see all the instances that I have access to in this particular data center.
Okay, so now when you go to Employee Central, so now you are in this particular instance, and you have 2 other systems, but those 2 are not. My confusion is you have multiple systems in the source. So how is that was?
You might be working on multiple customers, so you need to make sure you work on the right things. That's your responsibility. So it's your responsibility.
Okay.
Yeah. So you might also have just a test and production system. So in that case, you only see 1. But let's say I'm working on 3 customers at the same time. You'll see all the other customers' data as well. So it's important that you know that these are which one you're working on. So obviously it's something that you need to be careful, right? So, right. So there is one more option, which usually no one does. And I don't ask you to do it as well. So here, what we can do is we can copy company settings. So you can select the company ID and the target user ID. So you can copy all the settings that you have for companies. So let's say you did this in production, sorry, in dev, you made all the changes to your company settings. Obviously you don't want to redo that activity again by checking each one of them. Instead you can simply give the target company ID and say do this, it does. Okay. You can also, it can be in multiple data centers. Local instance is within your data center, whereas a data center, so the remote instance is when you have different data centers and you want to send data to a different data center. So there are instances where I've seen customers having a test random, test instance is one data center, production in a different data center. It's quite possible.
Okay, so where we are, is this copy in the same instance or from dev to production?
Copying the company settings, especially the ones that you make in your provisioning, right? You make a lot of settings in provisioning. You select this, you select that, you select that. You don't want to miss something that you did by going and doing again manually everything. Does not make sense. So that's why what we try to do is we just try to copy here.
So where we are doing the source.
So this one is a source now. The one that I'm working in is a source. The name itself says, right, which target company that you want to copy. So we're copying the current instance to a target.
This company ID, right? That is.
So company ID is like this, right? So for example, I've got SMW. This is a company ID. So it's an instance ID. It's a no, it's not legal entity. Don't get confused with the legal entity. It's your company ID, instance ID.
Okay, instance ID. Okay. Okay.
Exactly. Right. So that's something which usually people don't know. So
here we do all the settings which you had already done in provisioning and instance, or only
provisioning.
Provisioning. Okay.
Yeah. What else can I show you here? I guess this is one. So I can also copy settings from another instance to this one. So you can say company settings, system properties, dashboard. So this is from your instance now. When I say company settings, it means company settings of your instance. In the instance, you have got manage config password login policy settings, all the basic stuff. This is old SUCCESSFACTORS, a good world SUCCESSFACTORS. Now it's so. Anyway, so this is something that we do in the back end, which usually no one knows actually. So this is good. Okay, so we'll stop here. So Monday, we'll start with global assignment. It won't take much time. It's for around half an hour or 40 minutes. And then I'll give you a brief introduction about time. And then what we do is we take time maybe for 3 days. We'll complete time in 3 days. Okay? So we'll stop here, guys. Thank you. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, you too, Praveen. Bye.